Constructivist epistemology is a philosophical perspective that challenges traditional notions of knowledge acquisition and asserts that knowledge is not discovered from the real world but is instead constructed based on human perceptions and social experiences. Before we dive in, if you find this content valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. It truly helps us grow. Now, let's get started. This theory, which gained prominence in the 20th century, has profound implications for our understanding of how we come to know and interpret the world around us. In this comprehensive review, we will delve into the core principles of constructivist epistemology, examine its historical development, and explore its applications in various fields. The foundations of constructivist epistemology. 1. Perception and subjectivity. At the heart of constructivist epistemology is the idea that knowledge is not a passive reception of information from an objective external reality. Instead, it argues that our perceptions of the world are subjective and shaped by our individual experiences, cultural backgrounds, and cognitive processes. In this view, there is no single, universally objective reality that exists independently of human interpretation. 2. Social construction of knowledge. Another fundamental aspect of constructivist epistemology is the notion that knowledge is socially constructed. This means that our understanding of the world is not solely determined by individual experiences, but is also shaped by the collective interactions and agreements of society. The social context in which we live influences what is considered knowledgeable or true. Historical development of constructivist epistemology. 1. Precursors to constructivism. While constructivist epistemology became more prominent in the 20th century, its roots can be traced back to earlier philosophical and intellectual movements. For instance, Immanuel Kant's transcendental idealism argued that human knowledge is shaped by the mind's innate structures, setting the stage for the idea that our perception of reality is constructed. Similarly, George Berkeley's subjective idealism challenged the existence of an objective material world, emphasizing the role of perception in shaping our understanding. 2. Foundational thinkers. The development of constructivist epistemology was significantly influenced by key thinkers such as Jean Piaget, Lev Vygotsky, and Ludwig Wittgenstein. Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, is renowned for his work on cognitive development in children. He argued that knowledge is actively constructed by individuals as they interact with their environment, emphasizing the importance of mental structures called schemas. Lev Vygotsky, a Russian psychologist, focused on the social aspects of learning and proposed the concept of the zone of proximal development, ZPD, where learning occurs through social interactions and collaboration with more knowledgeable individuals. Ludwig Wittgenstein, an Austrian philosopher, contributed to the philosophy of language and the idea that meaning is inherently tied to social practices and language games. 3. The influence of social constructivism. In the latter half of the 20th century, social constructivism emerged as a prominent branch of constructivist epistemology. Social constructivists like Peter Berger and Thomas Luckmann argued that reality is a product of human interaction and that individuals collectively create the meanings and interpretations of their world through social processes. Key concepts and tenets of constructivist epistemology. 1. Cognitive constructivism. Cognitive constructivism, as espoused by Piaget and other cognitive psychologists, emphasizes the role of the individual in constructing knowledge. It posits that learners actively engage with their environment, adapt their mental structures, and construct understanding through processes such as assimilation and accommodation. For example, a child might assimilate new information about animals into their existing schema for dogs and then accommodate their schema when they encounter a cat. 2. Social constructivism. Social constructivism, on the other hand, underscores the importance of social interactions and cultural context in knowledge construction. Vygotsky's ZPD concept highlights that learning is most effective when individuals collaborate with others who possess greater knowledge or expertise. This social interaction helps learners acquire new skills and knowledge that they couldn't achieve on their own. 3. Discourse and language. Language plays a crucial role in constructivist epistemology. According to Wittgenstein and later social constructivists, language is not a neutral tool but rather a key component in shaping our understanding of the world. The meanings of words and concepts are socially negotiated through discourse, and language provides the framework for constructing and conveying knowledge. Applications of constructivist epistemology. 1. Education. Constructivist principles have had a profound impact on education. Constructivist pedagogy emphasizes active learning, problem-solving, and critical thinking. Teachers encourage students to explore, question, and construct their own knowledge, rather than passively receiving information. This approach aligns with Vygotsky's idea of scaffolding, where educators provide support to learners until they can independently master a concept. 2. Science and scientific realism. Constructivist epistemology has implications for the philosophy of science. It challenges the notion of a fixed, objective reality and highlights that scientific knowledge is influenced by human perception and interpretation. Scientific realists argue that there is a mind-independent reality, while constructivists suggest that scientific knowledge is a human construct that evolves over time. 3. Cultural studies and postmodernism. In cultural studies and postmodernism, social constructivism plays a pivotal role. Scholars in these fields examine how cultural norms, power dynamics, and social institutions shape our understanding of reality. They question the notion of objective truth and highlight the importance of recognizing diverse perspectives and marginalized voices. Criticisms and debates. 1. Relativism and truth. One common criticism of constructivist epistemology is that it can lead to relativism, where all perspectives are considered equally valid. Critics argue that this can undermine the concept of objective truth. However, many constructivists contend that while truth may be socially constructed, it doesn't mean that all perspectives are equally accurate or valid. 2. Empirical validity. Another critique revolves around the empirical validity of constructivist claims. Critics argue that certain scientific discoveries and objective facts demonstrate the existence of an external reality that exists independently of human perception. Constructivists counter by suggesting that these discoveries are still filtered through human perception and interpretation. Constructivist epistemology represents a paradigm shift in how we understand knowledge acquisition. By emphasizing the role of perception, subjectivity, and social interaction in the construction of knowledge, it challenges traditional notions of objective reality. This perspective has had far-reaching implications in fields such as education, science, and cultural studies, reshaping how we approach learning, research, and the interpretation of the world around us. While constructivist epistemology has faced criticism and debate, it continues to be a powerful framework for examining the dynamic and multifaceted nature of human knowledge. It encourages us to consider the intricate interplay between individual cognition, social interaction, and cultural context in our pursuit of understanding the world. In doing so, it invites us to explore the richness of our own subjectivity and the collective construction of meaning that shapes our reality.